Hello, friends. Hello, Kay and Jack and Alice from Wrongful Conviction Land. What's up?
Hello.
What up? What up?
Hey.
All right. We're going to do part two of the Syrita Bowen accusation tonight. And I'm going to get Catnet on making some.
Somebody's got to mute.
Am I muted? Oh. I'm going to get Catnet to see if she can work out. I don't know what it's called. I know what the end card is called. It's called an end card. Maybe the front one is a start card. I really don't know. But I'm going to have her work on some of those so it's not like we're just like popping in saying hello. I think there's something like a little introduction that can be played or something. So anyway.
it might be called an intro.
An intro card maybe? Yeah, that sounds good. something logical, I'm sure.
Well, it's actually called a trailer.
Oh yeah, yep. That makes sense too, I guess.
Yeah, there's a trailer you can play into your lead in.
True, that's true. Yeah, so I'm going to have Catnet's doing an amazing job in the channel, by the way. So I'm going to have her start working on those. Since we only have a couple of people in the chat right now, literally, I want to say hello to JD if you're still here, and to Rhonda SD. Thank you for being here with us. And everybody else can just, if they can come in late or watch it on the replay. There's a thing on YouTube now called the Replay Crew. So I think I have a few who do watch the replays, so that's good. But tonight we're going to do Syrita Bowen. We're going to read from some transcripts from the preliminary trial and from the actual trial itself. And we will... we'll kind of go over some consistencies between the preliminary trial and the trial, but certainly from the police report that we read last week. And at the end of the transcript reading, I have a short segment of a video that the prosecutor, Geiger, presented to Oklahoma City Court Reporters or something association. Anyway,
I think it was the state court reporters meeting. So
yeah,
the state of Oklahoma, it was all of them.
Oh, okay.
He had a captive audience.
Yeah, he did. And it's really bad quality. His video itself was just done on a cell phone, so it's really poor quality. And at one point, before my laptop was drowned in coffee, I had one that had subtitles and everything in it. That one has disappeared somewhere, but I do have this one that doesn't have subtitles, so we'll have to just listen closely. Basically, though, the point is that he lies through this entire presentation about every single one of the accusers. And my plan is to get together with Kay in the future, because I know she's actually went through and done the transcription of his video. And so has started it or something.
No, it's done. It's just so, I mean, when you guys listen to it later and imagine trying to transcribe it.
Yeah.
He doesn't speak in complete sentences. He speaks in all these just run-ons.
Yeah. And he doesn't sound very professional either.
Okay. Is he like a double dummy?
He is definitely a double dummy. He might be the king of the double dummies. Absolutely.
Hey, just want to throw this out here, and I don't want to speak for Andy B, but he might be able to help your recording if he has time.
Well, yeah,
I think isn't that the one that he did? That is the one that you did send to him.
Gotcha. So, okay. Yeah. Very good.
Yeah. We'll have to check back with him and see. So, case 10, hey, what's up? And Catnet, my amazing YouTube fixer, is here, and TTM Fangirl. Yay, thank you guys so much. So we'll listen to that part at the end, and we'll try to help you understand what he's saying, but I guarantee you everything that he says there's going to be, full of lies. So Anthony D, welcome and thank you for coming. Okay, so we're going to I'm going to kind of use foul play as an example for reading transcripts. Jack is going to read the part of Scott Adams, who was Daniel's defense attorney. Kay will read parts of the court, which is disgraced former Judge Timothy Henderson. And Alice is going to read parts of Galen Geiger, who was the lying prosecutor who we were just talking about. And I'm going to read the part of Syrita Bowen, the accuser. And if somebody else pops up on a transcript that we don't have somebody assigned reading for, then Kay will pop in and read those if she
can remember.
So yeah,
if she's paying attention,
she will. She'll do fine.
We'll say, hey Kay. We'll say, Kay, you got a part. Hey,
Kay, it's you, Kay. Whoops, not a video file.
All right.
She's like, all right, stop. I heard it.
All right.
Rhonda, my microphone's not overly loud. Does it sound okay? I can turn it down if it's too much.
No, I think you sound okay. To me.
A lot of times with StreamYard, I know on Jeff's StreamYard feed, it's like I had to turn it down because I don't know what the hell. It's too loud. So, okay. I'll just leave it be.
Yeah, you're fine to me. I guess what really matters is what it sounds like to the audience, to the viewers. So
they can let us know.
Yeah, they'll let us know.
Kat or anyone out there, does that sound okay? This is my normal setting for my microphone. So
Jack is Jack is a professional, and I appreciate it. He's got expensive equipment, and he wants to make sure it's working properly. So
there's
I just never use it.
I just don't want to come across like booming and drowning everything. I'm like real loud, and then the next person is like normal or a little much quieter. It's not enjoyable for the listener.
You're fine. I think you're fine. We'll pay attention to the chat.
Okay.
Let me see if I can see the. Well, I'm gonna have to. Where's the? Oh, it's down here. Sorry. Duh. All right, Alice, can you see that well enough, or do you want me to make it a little bigger? And Kay?
I'm reading off my own
perfect
copy, so.
No, that's fine. I can read it.
Okay, so this is going to start off with Syrita Bowen, the accuser, and the court has some. Oh, and Lori McConnell. That's who it is that I will read for. This first one is Lori McConnell, not Galen Geiger. Or Alice, you'll read for Lori McConnell, not Galen Geiger, because it's his assistant ADA who helps in this case. So, okay, so we're going to start on with. I'm going to start on line 1, and this will be Lori McConnell. So
you're Syrita Bowen, though.
Huh?
I thought you said you're Syrita Bowen.
I am. I don't mean I'm going to start reading. I mean we're going to start reading. Yeah. So Alice, whenever you're ready with line 1.
On that date, did you come into contact with an Oklahoma City police officer?
Just about, that day. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I couldn't quite hear that. You might pull the microphone a little closer.
More?
I'm kind of old.
Okay, I'm good.
Okay, that's good. Thank you. And was your answer yes or no?
Yes.
Okay.
What were you doing before you came into contact with an Oklahoma City police officer that day?
Coming from home.
Coming from home?
Uh-huh.
And without telling me the exact address, just kind of give me an intersection as to where that is.
Highland 16th Highland.
Okay. And were you says you were coming from home, so were you driving or walking?
Walking.
Okay, so whenever he took his penis out, he just took it out through his zipper of his pants?
Let me pause for a second. This jumps to the actual event of what is going on, obviously. So
I was
sorry
gonna
about
say that was weird.
Sorry about that. Yeah.
Did he put his penis in your mouth?
Uh-huh.
Did he put his penis
What
in your
was
mouth? Oh, I just read that. Did he have...
was that? I'm sorry. Was that a yes or a no?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Did he have a gun belt on whenever that happened?
I wasn't paying attention.
Did he ejaculate at that point?
No.
And then I think you were fixing to tell me that he told you to get out of the police car.
Yes, and I stepped out and he said, "Turn around." I turned around. That's when he unbuckled his pants and I bent over, and that's when he...
You bent over on the police car?
Uh-huh, in the back seat.
And did your clothes change in any way once you bent over on the police car?
Well, I pulled my pants down.
You pulled your pants down?
Yeah.
Or did he pull your pants down?
No, I pulled them down.
Okay, and then what happened?
That's when he... Yeah.
Did he put his penis in your vagina?
Uh-huh. I mean, yes. I'm sorry.
During either of these times, whenever he put his penis in your mouth, or when he put his penis in your vagina, was he wearing a condom?
Nope, not that I noticed.
How long did that last, Miss Bowen?
6 minutes? No, I'm stupid. Not long.
Not long? A minute?
Yeah.
Okay. Did he ejaculate that time?
Uh-huh.
And then what happened?
I sat back in the back seat, closed the door. He pulled up to 13th and Highland and he said, "Do you know where you are?" And I said, "Yes, I do." He said, "Well, it's about time for me to get off duty." He said, Can you make it from here?" I said, "Yes, I can." He got out of the car, he opened the back door, and he let me, and then we're going to jump again. Yes, I have my clothing.
Okay. Have you been requested or have you given it to any law enforcement?
No, I haven't.
Okay. I see that there is a gentleman sitting up here in the jury box. That's Mr. Tony Coleman. Can you tell us who that is?
That's my lawyer.
You have a lawyer?
Yes, I do.
Why do you think you need a lawyer?
I've never been through this, so I feel that I needed representation.
And do you intend on suing somebody?
I don't know what this is leading to, so...
Okay. But in any event, you weren't even interviewed until this thing had made the news, correct? Mr. Holtzclaw had been...
Well, like I said, a friend of mine that knew that I was scared to come forth got in contact with them, and they contacted me.
Do you currently have a warrant out for your arrest?
Really?
I said, do you?
Oh, no, I don't. Okay, so that was, yeah, like I said, a little bit, uh, not choppy, but kind of just jumping a little bit. So, and I don't know if you remember, but when we were looking at, hang on a second, when we were looking at the police report last week, in the police report, she says that she was leaving her Uncle Larry's house, I think it was.
From playing
But
dominoes.
Yep, they were
From
playing
playing
dominoes,
dominoes.
cards. Yep. And she says, but she says in the same police report, just at different times, that she was interviewed with Kim Davis, who couldn't get her recorder to work, and Valerie Homan couldn't get her phone to work to record. She said that she was walking home from her mother's. So she lied in that, or was inconsistent. In the police report alone, she was inconsistent about where she was even leaving from that night. So, and then here in the preliminary hearing, she states that she was coming from home. And if I'm not mistaken, I should have pulled up the police report, but if I'm not mistaken, in the police report, she says that he actually did ejaculate at during the vaginal rape itself, alleged.
But she's the only one out of all of them, right?
That what? Oh yeah, exactly. Yes, thank you, Jack. Good point. She is the only one out of all these women, all these different accusers, who claims that he ejaculated at all. So,
Are you sure that Great didn't? Because remember, she wiped it on her hand, and then
you're
so
right.
it was
Great.
also Rosetta Great as well.
Rosetta Great did as well. Yep, you're right. Yeah.
But coincidentally, Great is related to this is the friend
Yes.
connection with these two women, Great and Bowen. I believe they knew each other.
Yeah. Because it was Rosetta Great who gave them an odd name of
Syrita.
Syrita, yeah, and yeah, then Kim Davis, put her great brain to work and looked at the list again that what's his face had given to her, and
you know why they figured it out? Because Kim and what's her partner's name?
Valerie Homan.
Kim and Valerie, they're just really good detectives.
Yeah, they are that good.
Isn't that what Kim told Rosetta when she said, "How did you?" No, we're just really good. We're just really good detectives.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you are.
But she's not very techno.
Well, she wasn't talking about being techno.
Okay, because I can't see the chat when I'm reading, and you guys are also reading. I just want to see if we had any comments or questions. Nope, they're all just laughing at Catnit's clever jokes, it looks like, which is fine. Liam has joined us. Hey, Liam, how's it going? And Shaz has joined us. Thank you, guys. And
Liam says, how did Daniel do that without phasing through the car roof?
Without what? Didn't see
phasing through the car roof.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know. He's also very clever and very, from what they make it sound like. So okay, so I don't have an answer for you on that, Liam. my phone today, so can't make references easy to people. Just take it as you read them, and I'm glad to see you all. Okay, all right, we gotcha. Okay, Colette has joined us as well. Hello, Colette, and
Hey, isn't it interesting that somehow she had I believe that detectives gave her the information to add to her story. Yeah, he was about to get off duty. Did he tell you he was about to get off duty?
yeah,
Because they want to make all these similarities, because he did tell Janie Liggins that he had just gotten off duty, was tired, he really wanted to just get home.
yep, exactly.
And so when I hear these accusers say he told me he was about to get off duty, I feel like that is information that detectives fed to these women, the way that we've heard him feed them so many things.
Yeah, that's I caught that too, because that was the first time I had really seen that in another accuser's statement anywhere was about the I was tired and about to get off work. Yeah. I'm trying to think of what time he did make contact with her, legitimate contact with her.
Mm-hmm.
It was started at around 12:49 a.m. And so he would be getting off of work at 2 a.m. So he still had at least another 45 minutes left of his shift. So that's actually kind of a lie.
Yeah.
If you think about it.
I mean, what annoys me about this whole case is when people come and say, but 13 accusers came forward. No, they never.
Yeah.
None of these accusers, well, one of them, Janie Liggins, she came forward, but she says it was a short black man who sexually assaulted her. You know what I mean? Not Daniel. Daniel's over 6 foot. He's half Japanese and half American. You know what I mean? The complete opposite to what she says. But as I've always said before, they went searching for these women through Daniel's computer. These women never came forward of their own accord. Some of them seen the news and came forward. I mean, is it Shardarian Hill? The one that turns around and says, well, is that good evidence? Do you think we'll get them on that? That's not somebody who's a victim.
Yeah.
And Kayla Lyles in a way, but they had already tried to reach out to Kayla Lyles and she didn't respond back to them. But, then when I believe when she started seeing it on the news, she knew that she had screwed up and she had violated her probation by missing her probation appointment meetings. She just, people who are devious and manipulative, they figure out how to make things work for them. It's just a conniving way to use that situation to try to get out of trouble, because she was at risk of having her probation revoked and being sent to prison.
Yeah.
And that didn't happen after she came forward.
Well,
so came forward, kind of, I guess you could say. But yeah, you're right, Alice. Just those two, really, and then Syrita Bowen.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, I'm not saying that these women were not assaulted in some sort of way.
No.
They probably were. But it wasn't by Daniel. It was never by Daniel.
Sure. Just by the nature of the dangerous lifestyles that they were leading, they would have been in all kinds of dangerous situations. Every single one of them could have been raped in the past. That wouldn't be unbelievable. I mean, they did some really dangerous things by nature of their circumstance.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's what I'm saying, Kay. I mean, they probably were assaulted by a police officer
Maybe.
whose power went to their head. You know what I mean? And thought that they could get away with it. But the fact
Maybe.
that the description that they gave was a short black officer, not a 6 foot odds, built like a brick shithouse guy who's half Japanese and half American. There is completely off guard when it comes to Daniel. And for the jury not to have connected that difference is beyond belief.
It's hard for me to think that all of these women could have been assaulted by a police officer. I just think that's such a stretch.
Yeah,
I wouldn't doubt if they hadn't been raped by someone, or if a couple of them, maybe one or two. I mean, here I am sounding like the guilters with the flip side, you know.
But you're completely right.
Know.
Yeah, you're completely right. But I'm meaning the officer side of things. They, you know, they probably were assaulted by an officer, but it certainly was not Daniel.
Right.
Sorry, I was muted. Okay, we're going to carry on now. Now we're moving into the trial. This is the trial transcript, and I believe that it's Galen Geiger who is doing a direct examination on Syrita Bowen. So I'll keep reading Syrita, and Alice, you're going to switch now to Galen Geiger. You're still doing the cues, basically. And then Scott Adams has some objections, I believe. So I'll start with line 1. Where I was?
Yes, ma'am.
Walking down the street, leaving my mom's house, walking down the street.
Okay, so you were in the area of Northeast 12th Street?
Leaving 12th Street.
Judge, I'd object to the leading nature of the questions.
All right, don't lead the witness.
Did you tell me your mother lived on 12th Street, ma'am?
Uh-huh, yes.
Okay. And when you say you were leaving your mom's house, is that the street that you were leaving from? Do you understand me?
Can you phrase that? Yeah, I was leaving 12th Street. That didn't sound right to me. Okay, yeah, I was. Yeah, repeat the question, please.
Yes, ma'am. Your mom lives on 12th Street.
Right. No, she doesn't anymore, but she did. Yeah.
Okay. At the time, is that the house you were leaving?
Yes, sir.
All right. And where were you going?
Alice, I love you. You're amazing. Oh, gosh. To my uncle.
I just asked for a date, Your Honor. We just know that it's 2014.
Well, that's up to him.
Witness. Oh, that's me. I'm like, hello, Alice. Oh, Jesus. Okay. Been 2 years ago, really. Yeah.
Whatever he wants to ask.
Ma'am, do you remember this time being in May of 2014?
Your Honor, I object to the form of the question. It's leading and suggestive.
Don't lead the witness. Sustained.
Ma'am, do you know the date specific?
No, I don't.
All right. Do you know what time of year it was?
Summertime. It was after my birthday. I know that.
Okay, when's your birthday?
May 14.
About how long after your birthday was it, ma'am?
I don't know, about a week or so.
About a week or so after your birthday?
Yeah.
All right. So that would put in about May 21st?
Somewhere.
All right. So on May 21st of 2014, you were leaving your mother's house.
Uh-huh.
All right. And where were you what were you and where you do it going?
To my Uncle Larry's house.
All right. Does he live close to your mom?
Yeah, in the same neighborhood.
Within walking distance?
Uh-huh.
When you were leaving your mother's house on the 21st of May, 2014, about what time was it?
Early in the, after 12, 1, 2, 3, 3 in the...
Jesus Christ.
You said several different times there, okay? You said
After 12, maybe
after 12?
1, 2, 3 in the morning. Is that reasonable?
After 12 midnight?
Yes, sir.
All right. Ma'am, well, there's a 12 a.m. and a 12 p.m.
I said after 12, 1, 2, 3 in the morning. So that would be what? Thank you. Come on.
All right. What happened as you were leaving sometime during that time period?
I was walking down 16th Terrace getting ready to cross the house earlier. Oh, let's see. We might have jumped a page. Let me look back up here.
Yeah, we jumped 3 pages.
And he asked me what I was doing coming out of there. And I was like, well, I wasn't coming out of there. And I was like, what house are you talking about? He said, that one that was on the corner, which is a good friend of ours.
So there is actually...
It's not a drug house.
It was actually a house you could see that he was talking about?
Yeah, really nice. Yeah.
And your memory is that you told him that's not a drug house?
Yeah.
Okay. And you actually know these people?
Yeah.
Okay. And after he said that you said something about him putting the car in park, help me understand how all this happened.
Well, when he pulled up beside me and asked me where I was going, what I was doing, and where I was coming from, I told him. Then he put the car in park and proceeded to have the conversation about the girl Rose and the house. And
so all those things happened right there on 16th and Highland?
uh-huh. We're going to jump again.
Yeah.
So you read line 2.
He was still there? Let's stop for a second. Okay, take a breath. Chew for a minute.
Okay.
You tell me when you're ready. Take your time. Tell me when you're ready.
Yeah, I'm cool.
You're okay?
Yeah.
So, he's still in the front seat at this point. And now you realize he's serious, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Tell the jury what happened. Tell the jury what happened after that.
He got out of the car and he opened the back door and he unzipped his pants and I turned towards him. I gave him some head, oral sex. He told me to get out, pull my pants down, told me to bend over I just did what he asked me.
I didn't hear what you said.
Told me to bend over in the back seat and then proceed to have sex with me. And when he got done, he told me to get back in.
Miss Bowen, I'm not trying to.
Okay, then we're going to skip.
Yep. I think you just described it for me.
Okay, thank you.
Did you stay completely in the car whenever the oral sex happened?
Yes.
And I know what you mean, but I have to ask this question to do my job, okay? Did his penis go in your mouth?
Yeah?
Okay. About how long was it in your mouth?
Away.
I didn't hear what you said.
I didn't even answer that question.
Long time or a short time?
Short.
Okay. Do you know if he ejaculated?
No.
Did he not? Or do you know? Like, did he just ejaculate? Or do you know?
In my mouth?
Yes, ma'am.
Ew, no.
He did not. Okay. So, after that happened, for a short period of time, you said you got out of the car. Is that right?
We might be jumping here. I'm not really sure, but I don't.
You don't know?
Talking about stuff like that? No, I don't know.
You don't know. Okay. Do you know why he stopped? Or
I guess he was done.
Because he was done? Okay. What happened after that?
I put my clothes up and got back in the car.
What did he do?
He got back, got back in the car.
I think you told me this, but I want to ask. You said he unzipped his pants?
Yeah.
Did his pants come down, or do you know?
I don't know.
You don't know? Okay. After he got back in the car, Miss Bowen, what happened?
He proceeded to pull off.
Where'd you go?
He went to the next corner, which would be 13th and Highland, and he stopped. And he told me that he couldn't take me back to where he picked me up because, and then it cuts off, but I believe she said that because he said that he was tired and wanted to go home is what I think, but I don't remember for sure. So, yes, so that was a little bit of jumping around, and but we tried to just put just the things that that were pertinent to the exact accusation itself. So any comments or questions from anybody on the panel?
What a load of shit that was. Oh, Jesus Christ almighty, man. It was midnight, it was 1, it was 2, it was 3.
Is that reasonable?
Is that reasonable?
Is that a good answer?
Don't people go out in the middle of the night to play dominoes? 1, 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, whatever. Yeah.
Would be nice if it would have been 3 because he would have been in bed by then.
Yeah, that would have been really nice. But the fact that she even said it, but like I said, according to the AVL, it was around, started about 10 to 1 in the morning. So, she was covering all of the bases at that point.
You know,
Maz,
I
Maz
haven't
has joined us in chat. Hi, Maz. Nice to see you. She says, "Oh, geez, Louise, what have I come into? Alice's accent is making me wet myself through laughter."
That was pretty funny.
the part about him asking her about Rose, meaning Rosetta Great, I have never been tuned into that part of this case. Were you always aware of that?
I was not aware of that either, but like I said, Brian Bates doesn't have a podcast on this accuser, and so I haven't ever really dove into it myself to know, some of those other details. So
I wonder why he didn't do this one.
Well, he's going to do them all.
Yeah,
he's
he
just
will.
not up for being subpoenaed anymore until that civil trial gets resolved, because even though Daniel's been dropped from it, they can still subpoena him. They're still, if they get that summary judgment overturned on appeal, it's going to carry on. So
right, it'll trigger more legal action.
Yeah, he doesn't need to be doing their investigative work for him. Screw those people.
Agreed.
The attorneys, I mean.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, I'm just trying to catch up on a couple of comments here, and then we'll get to the other.
Oh, what else? Okay, did he have a condom on? Give me a break. If someone puts their penis in your mouth, you're going to know if they have a condom on or not. That was from prelim, though, wasn't it?
No, that was from the trial.
Okay. And then it was the other thing was, did he ejaculate? And it's like back and forth with the questions before she finally keys into the fact that, hey, if someone ejaculates in your mouth, you're probably going to know it.
Yeah.
You're not going to have to think too hard about that. It's going to be pretty clear.
I don't think, I've heard, okay, hurry on, Jack, because we got work to do here. Jack's going to step away for a moment. So I've heard that that's not something you forget, or that, you don't know if it happened or not. So
you don't know anything about it?
No,
okay.
No. Anyway,
I've heard people say, Rhonda, you're okay, Rhonda. Holy shit.
Well, I'm just trying to,
She's just trying to say, I'm just a little
proper
person over here.
Yeah, it's very prim and proper.
No. I mean, it's true though, Kate. I mean, you can tell the difference between someone with a condom on and somebody no with a condom. And I'm damn sure if they're going to put it in your mouth, you're going to know whether it's in a rubber or no. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Plain, straight, and simple.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You'd think those kind of things would have impacted the jury.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, it really shows you that it was all emotional and fear-based with the jury. I try to put myself in their place, to think how frightened I might be for myself and my family, and not knowing what might happen even at the courthouse.
Yeah.
But still, though, okay. I mean, in a court case, it's supposed to be sort of definitive answers. You know what I mean?
Sure.
With him, letting her get away with saying, oh, it was 12. Oh, no, wait a minute, it was 1, or it was 2, or it was 3. He just let that slide.
Well, this is
wait, you know, no.
That was
Make up your mind. Was it 1 or 2? Was it 12 or was it 1? Or was it 3? Or you know what I mean? You can't have all 5 different times.
Well, I don't know what your clock looks like, Alice, but you can do that on my clock, so. Oh, Jack, did you make it back?
apparently not.
I don't think so.
What else?
So yeah.
So the pants were unzipped, and he unzipped his pants. Don't know if the pants came down, because originally, didn't she say that I'm confused. Did she say he unbuckled his pants?
No, she just said he unzipped.
In prelim or in the police report? What was that?
I should have brought the police report back up. Shoot, I guess I still
you have time to go look for it, since Jack's wherever Jack is. Jack's off fixing himself a bourbon and Coke or something.
No, the conversation. I heard the conversation going like a really different direction. Saying anything. That's all fun. But I do think that, you know, from a male perspective, I would think that she would know. She would know for sure if he had a condom on or not.
Does someone have YouTube on? Because I can hear a delay.
I do, but mine's muted. Mine's muted, so.
Rhonda.
Anyway, yes, I'm back.
Jack's back.
All right.
Can you still hear it?
No.
All right.
But no one's talking, so.
This is true.
No. All right. 3376.
Yeah.
So this is cross-examination.
Yes. And forgive me, I thought that Kim Davis, now this is a longer one. This has got 34 pages, but it's going to jump too. And I'm sorry about that. I had help with some of these, and the help was fantastic. Don't get me wrong, but I didn't take the time to go through them and make sure that I was getting all the correct pages. I'm really sorry, but you're going to get the gist of everything. So don't worry your pretty little heads about it too much.
Don't fret.
We can fill in.
Rolled some dice and chose a few pages and skipped a few, and that's what we're getting. That's what you guys are getting.
No,
all professionalism.
Not quite, but
Rhonda.
A little bit maybe, but not quite. But I apologize. I will do better.
I'm just giving you a bad time. No, it ain't no thing.
Yeah. Whatever we feel like is missing from something that we read, we'll fill you in during the chit chat. So
how many pages is her entire testimony? Do you have any idea at all?
I don't have any idea, but I know it's one of the shorter ones.
Yeah.
I do know that. I know that doesn't help, but
that's fine. All right.
So we're going to have Scott Adams and Mr. Geiger. I believe Scott Adams is doing cross. We'll figure it out here in a minute.
Line 12.
Yes, line 12 says cross-examination.
Okay. All right. So Alice, if you want to start on line 3. Hello?
You might be muted, Alice.
She's muted.
Duh! I read the whole bloody thing and I'm muted!
God.
Happens to all of us. Okay.
Okay, if you bring back your witness, all right, Miss Bowen, let me remind you, you're still under oath.
Yes. Oops, sorry.
All right, go ahead and have a seat back over there.
Mr. Adams.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Adams, you may proceed. I thought that was a colon instead of a comma. God, we're professional here. Jeez.
Thank you, Your Honor. Okay, line 13. Miss Bowen, do you recall the first time you ever talked to an Oklahoma City detective about Officer Holtzclaw?
Yes, I do.
Okay, when was that?
You want me to give like a date or something?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, I can't tell you that.
Was it in the year 2015 or the year 2014?
Had to be 15. I don't know. Yeah, this is 15. Yeah.
So it would have been this year?
Yeah.
Is that a yes? It's going to jump
We're
here.
gonna
It jumped.
Yeah, we're going to jump. But
Oh God.
it was not
that makes sense. Okay.
it was 2014, not 2015, but you know, hey.
It's also confusing.
Yes, the dates get mixed up. This is the court.
I don't allow him to ask you another question until you're finished with your answer, okay?
I thought my answers had to be either yes or no, though.
Well, you answer as best you can, and every answer has to be a verbal word, okay?
Yes or no, right?
Well, you just answer as best you can.
Ms. To be as fair with you as I possibly can be. And you just testified the first time you talked to a detective, in this case was about Officer Holtzclaw, was in the year 2015. I'm asking you, can you give me what month that could have been?
No, I can't.
Okay. The events that led us here today and the events that you're talking about in regards to your contact with Officer Holtzclaw, can you tell me what month?
Could you repeat that question?
Yes, ma'am. You testified earlier on direct examination that at some point in your life you came into contact with Officer Holtzclaw.
Yes.
Okay. And that's the officer who you've identified here in front of the jury, correct?
Yes.
Do you recall the month?
No.
Do you recall the month that you came into contact with Officer Holtzclaw?
No, I don't.
Can you give us a season? Was it winter?
Summer.
Summer. So summer months to you mean what?
It was after my birthday. It was in May.
Okay. And who told you that it was important to remember when your birthday was?
Excuse me?
Did someone from the state or from the government tell you to remember your birthday was in May?
Well, ain't I supposed to remember my birthday? I'm 50 years old, man. I remember my birthday.
I'm not trying to argue with you. I'm just trying to...
Well, what kind of question is that?
All right, listen to his question.
Did someone... Yeah, my mother told me it was important for me to remember my birthday. Thank you.
What month? How long after your birthday was it that you came into contact with Officer Holtzclaw?
About a week or two.
And when you first came into contact with Officer Holtzclaw, what year would that have been?
2015.
This year.
No, because this is another year, ain't it? It's been 2 years. Yeah, last year. It's been 2 years.
So it was 2014.
14, yeah.
Okay, so
Thank you.
so if you came into contact with Officer Holtzclaw in May of 2014,
Uh-huh.
when was the first time you ever talked to the detective about Officer Holtzclaw?
I don't know.
Would it have been before or after 2014?
It had to be after because he got caught, sometime in October, or it had to be after the incident. I wouldn't even say nothing about it until I seen him on the news.
Would it have been in October of 20?
What month? Oh, sorry.
Hey, it looks like we skipped. What month? How long after your birthday was it that you came into contact with Officer Holtzclaw?
About a week or two. Oh, this looks like a repeat.
This is the same page.
Yeah, I know. I did that on purpose.
That's all right. Okay.
Sorry.
It was a good one. Let's read it twice.
Oopsie. Somewhere along there.
Would it have been in October of 2014 or October?
So slow, too. Somewhere along in there.
All right. Let him finish his question.
Oh my God. Really? Jesus.
Would it have been in October of 2014 or October of 2015?
15.
15?
What month is this? 14. I don't know. It was whenever they caught him is whenever I got contacted, a couple weeks after that, okay? So you figure it out. I don't know.
Do you know what month it is right now?
This is, November.
Okay.
Do you? God.
Oh my God.
Well, he held his composure. Do you know the date?
This is the 24th, 3rd, 4th, 5th, or something. My daughter's birthday is Saturday, so it has to be the 24th or something like that. Is it? Excuse me. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Well, let's just go back to the first time, regardless of date. You spoke to a detective, in this case about Officer Holtzclaw. Would you agree with me that Officer Holtzclaw, as you had already been on the news and in the media?
Yes.
Yes. And you'd had some discussions with some people in your neighborhood about Officer Holtzclaw.
Yes.
And who was the first person from Oklahoma City Police Department? Are you wanting me to talk faster?
Yeah, because you making it so long and tedious. I mean, really. Yeah, ask me a question.
All right. Just listen to his questions and answer them as best you can.
Well, ask. Yeah, yes. So do you have to think about what you're going to say next? Come on, just ask me the questions.
Your Honor, may I approach?
Thank you.
Come up.
Your Honor, I'm trying to do this as delicately as I can and trying not to be offensive. I don't believe she has a clear conception of what the date is today pursuant to her previous answer. That then, she's very combative, and I'm trying, and again, Your Honor, I'm trying not to be disrespectful to this court at all. And certainly don't want to be disrespectful in front of the jury. She's making it nearly impossible for me to even ask a question about when she talked to the detective or what she said because she's being so combative. So what I'm asking to do at this time is, I believe from the way she's acting on the stand and her demeanor towards me, I believe she's under the influence of something. I know she's probably not going to admit it, and I'm asking, at least from what I've observed, and I'm not an officer, I'm just an officer of the court, that I believe she's intoxicated in public. And I would ask that I don't even know what to do. I'm just making a record that I don't know what to do at this point because I don't want to be offensive in front of the jury. and I'm trying to be as respectful as I can.
Ma'am, you can't be talking while we're doing this.
Yes.
Thank you.
I'm just asking the court, maybe you might have some suggestions, but I'm just wanting to try and get through this as quickly as possible, but without being offensive. And I'm not sure that I can accomplish it in her current state of mind.
Judge, this is the way Miss Bowen always is. I don't think she is under the influence. I think this is her personality. She was the same with me whenever I started. I had to change the way I was asking questions and shorten the questions. And that's what Miss Bowen has said to me off the record is why are you asking such long questions? And I said, I'll try to ask shorter questions. I don't think she doesn't know what date it was, and she's frustrated because she's told counsel, I don't know what date it is. And
well, the court's observed Miss Bowen, and I don't know whether she's intoxicated or this is her personality or what kind of issues there are. I recognize that, Mr. Adams, you've got a job to do, and the only thing you can do is to do it the best you can. I appreciate your demeanor, your candor, but you've got a job to do. Do it the best you can. I will, instruct the witness to answer.
I've asked her to do the same thing, Judge. She thought my questions were stupid. She doesn't understand why we're asking them. And I think that's what her problem is. I don't think she's being evasive. I think she just doesn't understand. I think she's functioning on a level she functions on.
And it's just one of those deals that I guess when you ask a question, you've got to really think of how you want to ask it, because obviously she doesn't possess the same verbal skills as maybe some other people in this courtroom possess. But so just do your job the best you can.
Okay, it looks like the following continues within the hearing of the jury. Okay, line 12. Ms. Bowen, do you recall the very first time you talked to Detective Davis in this case?
Yes.
Okay, and you know that Detective Davis is with the Oklahoma City Police Department.
I know this now.
You knew it when you talked to her for the first time, correct?
I just knew she was a detective. I didn't know who she worked for.
Okay. The very first time you ever talked to Detective Davis would have been on or about October 2nd of 2014 by the way of telephone, correct?
Yes.
When you made this phone call back on October the 2nd of 2014, which recorded, do you remember getting very excited when you found out that Officer Holtzclaw had been arrested?
What do you mean, do I remember getting very excited?
Do you recall getting excited?
No, excited for what? Someone called in for me, and I just tried to find out why the police were looking for me. Someone called in for me. I had nothing to do with this man. Ooh. Oh.
Well, that's interesting.
Oh. When I seen him on the news, I had nothing to do with this man. Someone that cared about me, knew that I was a victim of his, called for me. Huh.
I thought you just testified you had nothing to do with this man. You just saw that he was arrested on TV.
What do you mean I didn't have nothing to do with this man? Oh, God. I'm using your words, Miss Bowen, not mine. What words did I use?
Words that you had nothing to do with him until you saw he was arrested on TV.
Right.
Not what she said, Your Honor.
I mean, what?
Not what she said.
I said I had nothing against that. Oh, we're going to skip.
Yep.
Damn. That was pretty crazy.
That is
Sorry.
crazy.
That's the first time I heard that. That
Okay.
she had nothing to do with this man. Interesting. Okay, and so I think this jumps. It's probably Scott Adams asking about. I believe he believes something about she's retained the services of a lawyer here in Oklahoma City by the name of Tony Coleman.
We'll start on line 4.
I'll start on line 3. I don't think that no, not at that time.
Was Mr. Coleman making arrangements through Detective Davis for you to meet Faith?
No, my cousin Theodis Manning did that. What?
Why is Tony Coleman? Is he your lawyer?
Not as of today.
Did you fire him?
Yes, I did. Oh, I'm sorry.
Did you fire Tony Coleman today?
Yes.
Why?
Relevance.
All right, come up.
Coleman had just testified that he is her lawyer. Okay? This certainly goes to her credibility. Why is not an attorney-client privilege the answer? So I'm asking that she be required to tell us why she's fired him today.
I don't know whether or not she's retained Mr. Cole's services this afternoon is relevant.
Okay, that's now we're gonna jump. This is this is Scott Adams.
Okay.
Just start at
Line 5.
yes.
And is Detective Davis this lady right here?
Yes.
Okay. Where did that meeting take place?
Divine Wisdom Church of God in Christ.
Mr. Coleman was not present while interviewed. Was he present in the building?
I think he came afterwards. Oh.
At the point in time. Yeah, really. At the point in time when you were interviewed by Detective Davis, was there also a Detective Holman
Yes.
present? Yes? Was that the interview either video or audio taped in any way to your knowledge?
No, I think the recorder wouldn't work, so she had to write down the words.
I'm sorry, do what?
The recorder wouldn't work, so she had to write down the words.
The recorder was not working.
No, I guess. I don't know. I wasn't using it. I can't answer that question. That's what I was told. Yes. No.
Dear God. During this meeting sometime in your life when Detective Coleman and Davis interviewed you at the church by yourself, was any device used to record it, either audio or video?
She's answered that question. She says the recorder didn't work.
All right, do you know if it was recorded?
Well, she said it wasn't because she wrote out because she said it wasn't working right. So she had to write the words down. So I don't.
When you say she told you it was not working, who are you talking about?
Detective Davis.
And did Detective Holman also have a recording device that she was attempting to use?
No.
So, that's interesting. So, as far as you know, it wasn't recorded in any way, correct?
Asked and answered.
All right, sustained. Ask another question.
During this interview, did you discuss, I think it skips here.
Yeah, go ahead with the court.
The jury will remember it how they remember it. She'll remember it how she does.
Do you recall testifying to that today?
Repeat the question, please.
Do you recall testifying today that during these events with Officer Holtzclaw that he ejaculated?
Well, you keep saying events, but there were only one time.
Do you recall today testifying that while you were being sexually assaulted by Officer Holtzclaw that he ejaculated?
He ejaculated. To me, ejaculated means he jacked off. Oh, God.
Okay.
Okay.
I mean, so, no, he didn't jack off. Oh, good Lord.
What?
Okay. He didn't jack off. Did he come?
Yeah.
Do you know what that means?
Yeah, this is bad.
It's bad. Oh my God. Do you know what that means?
Well, I don't know if he did or not because, I just wanted to get it over with and go home.
Do you recall in your interview with Detective Davis and Detective Holman back on October the 9th of 2014 that you specifically told the detectives that Officer Holtzclaw ejaculated?
No,
You denied that you said that?
I don't remember saying that.
Do you recall
I don't know if he did or not.
Do you recall testifying in the preliminary hearing in this matter under oath, page 237, line 12 through 20? Answer: no, not that I noticed. Question: how did that last? Ms. Bowen: answer: 6 minutes. No, I'm stupid. Not long. Question: not long? A minute? Answer: yeah. Question: okay, did he ejaculate that time? Answer: uh-huh. Do you recall these questions being asked and those answers being given?
Well, he had to.
While you were under oath in the preliminary hearing in this matter?
Oh, yeah, I recall answering those questions.
What?
Yes, I recall answering those questions.
And at that time in the preliminary hearing, while you were under oath, you said Officer Holtzclaw ejaculated, correct?
Probably. Yeah. Yes.
Do what?
I didn't say do anything.
Ms. Bowen, you know the difference between the truth and a lie, don't you?
A lie is yes. Do you want me to define it for you?
Not really.
Okay, because I can.
You understand that whenever you talk to law enforcement, it's important for you to tell the truth.
Is it really? So is it? Yeah. Yes, yes, yes.
Now, would you agree that you were a convicted felon?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Are you currently aware that there are 3 active warrants out for your arrest?
No.
You don't know anything about that?
No. For what? Please tell me. I have to go
What are you going to do when I tell
go and find out what it's about. What do I have warrants for? Really?
you? Seriously don't
No, I don't.
that you have warrants out for your arrest?
No, I don't. For what? Can you tell me? For real, I don't.
Were you convicted in CF-02-6640 for false declaration to a pawnbroker?
Yeah, and I went to the penitentiary for that.
You went to the penitentiary
Yes, I did.
for that? Okay, did you go to the penitentiary for something else?
Let's see. False, concealing stolen property. My first case when I was 18 years old. What was it? Petty larceny. A bunch of stuff like that.
Okay, you've been caught stealing on a number of occasions?
No,
Okay.
only one time.
Do you recall using a different date of birth whenever you would come into contact with any law enforcement?
One time, yes.
So you admit that you did use a fake date of birth?
No, not date of birth. I used my daughter's name. Oh, God.
Used your daughter's name?
Yeah.
How old is your daughter?
Okay,
He
we're gonna
jumps.
skip. All right, line 2, Jack.
Do what?
I think I recall saying that it might have been in July. I think that's what I recall saying, that it might have been.
I don't object to that, Your Honor.
Pause for 1
And-
second. Sorry.
Okay.
So it looks like somebody's refreshed her memory or told her that the alleged assault was in July, which is not at all when it was. Okay, go ahead.
This is crazy. Okay, line 7. It is line 7. Okay. And at no time during the interview with Detective Holman or Detective Davis did you ever tell them or suggest to them might have been in May of 2014?
Nope.
Correct?
No, they gave me the date. They told me when. Woo! Sorry.
They told you the date?
Yeah.
May I have just one moment, Your Honor?
Yes.
Ask the witness, Your Honor.
All right. Redirect.
Briefly, 1 or 2 questions. Yes, sir. Mrs. Bowen, I just have a couple of questions for you. Okay?
Yes.
All right. In regards to the date that this happened, counsel just asked you about. Do you remember him asking you about that?
I'm sorry.
Let me ask this question. How many times did this police officer stop you and run you?
A bunch. Stop me and run me
Yes, ma'am.
at night?
Just how many times did he ever stop you and run your name in his computer?
That morning is the only time I knew he did it.
That early morning?
Yeah, that he ran a check. Yeah.
So, is the day that he did that, does that day have to be the day that this sex happened?
Judge, object to the form.
All right. Sustained.
That's the only time he ever ran you?
That I know of.
And that's the day that he sexually assaulted you?
Yes.
Object to the form, Your Honor.
Sustained.
Is that the day he sexually assaulted you?
Yes.
Object to the form, Your Honor.
All right. Overruled.
Ma'am, just a minute ago, Mr. Adams asked you about what ejaculation means.
Uh-huh. Yes.
What? When you use the word ejaculate, what do you think that means?
That he did it himself. I mean,
That he jacked off?
Yeah, yes.
Do you know what the word masturbate means?
Oh my God, I can't. Jacking off.
Jacking off, okay?
But does that, like, oh God. But does that, like, mean coming? Well, when you just have to.
Hang on. I'm going to ask you something else now. You ready?
Yes.
All right. Did the officer come in your mouth?
Oh, God dang it, Alice.
Lord have mercy.
It's a good thing I'm not monetized.
Yeah,
Oh my
you'd have to mark this one ineligible. I'm sorry, you would.
No, he didn't.
I'm sorry.
Jesus Christ.
Did you know if he came whenever he was having sex with you?
Don't recall.
Okay. Did you ever see?
I didn't have to clean up or nothing when I went home, but that don't mean he didn't come. I mean, you know, there's pre-cum and there's, oh my God.
Oh my God.
I don't know.
Well, now she all of a sudden knows all about it.
Yes.
There you go. That's interesting. Now tell us all about it.
Jesus. This is insane. How did the jury get through with this?
I thought it was just jacking off. I mean, isn't that what that means? I mean, come on.
Oh God.
Jesus.
Line 8.
My dog is looking at me like he's lived and said, "What are you doing, woman?"
God. I am so sorry to the chat. I don't know what they're saying right now. I'm so sorry.
So,
Real thing.
So when people
Determine what you're.
so when other people have asked you in this case about ejaculation, you think they were asking you about jacking off?
Well, no one really that's asked me questions. We don't.
Let me ask this question.
Okay, from where I come from, we don't use ejaculate.
I know you don't. I know you don't.
All that.
Let me ask another question.
He either came or he jacked off. God.
During the time you saw him, did he ever jack off in your presence?
I have to pause for just a second. My 10-year-old grandson just walked in.
Oh boy.
Close the door, please.
Getting a little early sex education class.
God, so sorry. Oh gosh. Okay. I'm sorry. What line are we on? Oh, number 23.
23.
Okay. No. Well, during the time no, he didn't. He never jacked off.
Okay.
No, he never jacked off.
All right.
That I know of.
You didn't have to clean up. You just told me, correct?
Yes, right.
So, do you know if he came or if he didn't come whenever he was having sex?
No, I don't.
You don't?
No, I don't.
That's all.
Just on that area, Your Honor. Do you recall telling the Detective Davis and Detective Holman while you were interviewing them, while they were interviewing you and you were with them, you said that Officer Holtzclaw...
I'm sorry, counsel. Where are you?
On page 8 of this exact same interview, you said that he ejaculated. Whenever you told Detective Davis and Holman that Officer Holtzclaw ejaculated, did you mean that he jacked off or that he had had an orgasm?
Okay, we're gonna skip.
Looks like we took a jump here, yeah.
I want to know the answer to that.
Yeah, actually.
We're missing a page here. We need to know
Yeah.
that page.
Absolutely.
One page.
Well, we'll see. Maybe it'll get answered here.
Oh, dear God. I've heard and said those words more just now than I have in my entire life.
Oh, boy.
Same here. Same here. No kidding. That's a fact.
Okay.
Just rather use the word "get finished" and move on. Anyway.
Oh, okay. Let's see. Go ahead and read one, Jack. Just do it.
the night that you say that Officer Holtzclaw sexually molested you, correct?
I probably did, yes.
Yes. At any time now, had you watched them prior to the preliminary hearing?
I'm sorry. Go on.
Had you washed your clothes from the time of the alleged assault until the time of the preliminary hearing?
Yes.
At any time have you been required to turn those over to the Oklahoma City Police Department?
No, because it was irrelevant, because it had been like a year in the past. Who wouldn't wash their clothes in a year's time?
Ask the witness.
All right, Miss Bowen, you can step down.
Thank you. Oh.
Mr. Geiger, will you show her the way out?
Please show her the way
Da
out.
na na, blah da 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 da. Bringing
Okay,
up Leonard Cribbs.
I think this is, I believe this is where we get into Kim Davis's part of this testimony. Oh, Lord. Direct examination by, I got to take a break though, by.
That was something else.
That was
God.
pretty rough. God.
It was.
I am not easily offended. I'm not offended by this in any stretch. But I just, like, I'm uncomfortable. I'm not uncomfortable, but like, I can't imagine what it must be like for those in the chat. Did everybody leave? I can't get to my damn.
No, looks like it's about the same. No, actually, looks like we've gotten one or two more. So I don't know.
Probably all heard there's a sex show going on.
We've got Behind the Magic who's joined us. We've got West Virginia who's joined us. We've got Andy B who's joined us. So hello and welcome. And they're all laughing their heads off at my bad American accent. And I'm so sorry to my American friends. It's just how I see this guy asking and answering questions. And so I do apologise for the accent. But I
started to do a southern southwestern accent for Mr. Scott Adams, but I decided I better not.
Oh man. That was pretty intense and pretty. I mean, I guess that's what you get in a case like this. That kind of talk.
Didn't they drug test her though?
No, I don't think so.
No,
they drug tested Sherry Ellis. No, not Sherry Ellis. Tabitha Barnes. But I mean, I think Adams. I don't know what Adams was about to ask for earlier.
I think he was going to ask if she be drug or alcohol tested or both.
Yeah, but then what's his face? Geiger. Nope, this is just the way she always is. This is just her personality and blah blah blah.
Every time she comes to dinner at my house, she's always like this.
Yeah, she's like this.
She's like when we all hang out.
This is the way she always is.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't even have a conversation with this person.
You can't.
Well, she's got to be super nervous because this shit didn't really happen. So
yeah,
she's up here. She's got attorneys. I mean, it must be a really uncomfortable position to be in, to have to do this part.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm sure. Very stressful.
Well, and to remember all
what
of
you
the
said,
lines that you have to keep straight.
Yeah. What did I say the first time?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think, when something really happens to you, then
it's easy. Everything's easy.
It is, because it's traumatic.
Yeah. I know I shouldn't be laughing, but I'm really, it's a serious subject and I'm trying not to laugh, and I'm really sorry because it's really inappropriate, but it's really hard. But Alice and me are going to do our very best not to laugh at any more of her testimony.
Yes, Shaz, uncomfortable to lie. It would be really, I would think it would be really awkward to put yourself in a position where you have to sit up in a court of law. And then, I mean, I can't even imagine her wanting to even come into a court of law, because
Please don't say that word.
I can't believe that she didn't know she had warrants out for her arrest.
Yeah.
I think I'd be not leaving the courthouse.
Yeah, that was interesting.
Yeah, the story never changes when it's the truth.
Yep.
That's right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oops. I'm just trying to throw up some flabbergasted, but we're here listening, learning. Yeah, I know, Maz. This is much worse than I thought it was. So,
Right.
dazed and confused. Yes.
Well, I guess that's the way that's the way it really comes across. She's really dazed, just in a regular conversation. It was impossible. I mean, she was so. I guess Adam did the best he could, because he's also in front of the jury and the judge and everybody sitting there watching. I mean, my God, he didn't want to be. I'm sure he didn't want to be an asshole toward her, but
yeah, oh yeah, and he was trying to be, and he thought, okay, I need to speak her language. That's the only way she's going to understand my question is if I say it, in her language. So. It is what they had to do.
Yeah.
So, okay, I'm going to grab a drink of water and we will finish this up. This is going to be with Kim Davis. I don't think there's any more of that colorful language or anything. But Kim Davis does like to speak dirty
Kim Davis does like to say he made her put his penis in her. She loves to tell all the specific details.
Yeah, she's pretty.
Well, yeah, she's pretty bad. She likes to talk about his junk all the time. I noticed that.
She likes to talk about her own junk. She had no problem talking to the
No problem at all. Yep.
True story.
No problem at all.
Oh gosh.
We all do that, It's like,
yeah.
All right.
Okay. All right. Geiger and Kay, do you want to read Kim Davis's parts?
Sure.
Okay.
Detective, before I forget, I want to ask you about the question that Mr. Adams just asked Miss Bowen about whether or not she used the word ejaculate during your interview with her. Do you remember that question?
Yes.
Your report says she said he ejaculated, correct?
Correct.
Did she use that word?
No.
Why is that word in your report?
I try to make my reports sound as professional as they can. A lot of times when we talk to these victims, they say crude words and unless we're quoting something, we don't put those words in our report.
In your reports, ma'am, do you typically put things in quotation marks if you're saying the words they used?
Yes.
And did you do that in that case?
No.
All right. Tell the jury about your memory of how you came into contact with Miss Bowen, please.
I was looking for another girl and I got a hold of her. And when I talked to her, she told me that she contacted him.
Well, we might have jumped.
Yeah, we did lose a page.
Yeah. Sorry.
Well, now, what the hell?
You want me to go get it? I'll go get it.
That's all right. Let's see. Is this still me? Yeah, answer.
Yes.
Something, contact him, and he got it where Tony Coleman and I were talking.
Is Syrita Bowen a name that showed up on the AVL master list, etc.?
AVL master list?
I'm sorry. I said AVL. The Varuna master list. Thank you. Let me ask a different one. Is that a name Detective Munsey had given you a packet on?
I don't believe it was. No. We started looking for a Syrita based off what this one girl and what Rosetta told me.
All right. Based on the contact then from Mr. Prater via Mr. Coleman, you set up an interview and you did interview her, did you not?
Yes.
All right. During that interview, ma'am, did you give Miss Bowen a date as to when this happened?
No.
Okay. How do you know you did not?
I didn't have a date.
Explain that.
I didn't know. I didn't have a date to search out because she hadn't told me where she was. I didn't have a location to go search out, and I didn't know who she was. I was looking for a Syrita. I didn't have any way to research to be able to give her a date.
Once you met with her, did she give you a location?
Yes.
Okay. How did you arrive at that date, if you ever did in this case?
Well, then I go back to my logs and see when he ran her, when he checked her in Varuna, and then I went back and checked AVL to see if he picked her up at that location. That stuff.
During her interview with you, did she initially say it might have happened in July?
She said it might have happened in July, but she also said that it happened before her mom moved into assisted living.
Ma'am, in your report, does it also say that she wasn't sure when it happened?
Yes.
Were you able, through your investigation, to determine when her mother had moved into assisted living?
Yes.
And when was that?
June 1st, 2014.
At some point, ma'am, did you check the Varuna logs?
I did.
Now, up until October the 2nd of 2014, you would agree with me that Officer Holtzclaw and these allegations against him had been in the media, on the internet, and in print media also, correct?
Probably. I don't remember when that came out, but more than likely, yes.
Do you recall the videotape that we saw earlier in this trial when he was put on leave?
Yes. When we interviewed him?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
And that would have been back in June of 2014?
Yes.
And this is certainly would have been months after, in October 14, correct?
Correct.
When you first talked to Syrita, and you told her that you knew that she was sexually assaulted by a member of the Oklahoma Police Department, she got excited?
She did.
Okay. You then made up a time, not made up. You made a time with her to meet her face to face at a later date.
I tried to get her to come in that day.
I understand. And she wouldn't cooperate?
Oh gosh, this is
Yeah, it's madness how it's working, because I don't even know if that was definitely Prater that was asking the questions there.
Wow.
Yeah.
oh
I'm
it
not-
was Geiger.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Geiger. Yeah.
I think I'm pretty sure it was.
That's what I mean. The way it's jumping, it's hard to keep track of who's
I
asking
know.
questions.
I know. I should have reviewed these much better than I did. I apologize. But she's going to go into now. Kim Davis is going to go into talking about why this interview with Syrita Bowen wasn't recorded, and so she said she brought a recorder from my house, and then go ahead,
Okay.
Kay, line one. That wasn't the one.
It wasn't the one that we normally used at work. And I went and worked the concession stand, and then I went to the church, and then we got there, the recorder, it didn't work. I didn't know if the batteries were dead or if it just was an old recorder. It was I got it out of my son's backpack.
For whatever reason, though, you did not go get any new batteries or anything and repair the recorder so that it, in fact, would work, correct?
That's correct.
And so we know that recording devices did not work.
Correct.
Also, Detective Holman had her cell phone on with the recording device on her call phone, correct?
Correct. She tried to record it with her cell phone, but it wouldn't work.
And that was my next question. Allegedly, Detective Holman attempted to record this conversation, the first meeting with Miss Bowen, and that recording did not happen or work, correct?
Correct.
Now, but during that recording or during that interview with Miss Syrita Bowen was the very first time you were ever able to sit down with her face to face and talk about any allegations against her and Officer Holtzclaw?
Correct.
Now, during that meeting, she told you that she believed that she was assaulted by Officer Holtzclaw back in July of 2014, correct?
She said she thought it was in July, but she couldn't remember the date. But she said she knows it was before her mom moved into assisted living.
But specifically, in the regards to the month that she gave you, she told you July of 2014, correct?
Yes.
Now, you would agree with me that nowhere during this first face-to-face interview with Miss Bowen did she ever tell you it was during the month of her birthday?
No, her birthday didn't come up.
Her birthday didn't come up at all during the interview, did it?
Not that I remember.
And that report that you wrote reflecting that interview, there is no mention of the fact that it was during the month of her birthday, which happens to be in May, correct?
Correct.
Maybe this is Scott Adams.
Yeah, but
I'll let you know in a minute. Sorry.
And in fact, it was you that went back and determined when that time, when it was that Officer Holtzclaw had run Miss Bowen on a CIU, correct?
Yes, I determined that.
And you determined that was back in May of 2014, not July?
Correct.
Do you want to take over, Jack, since it's supposed to be you?
I'm pretty sure it's
Yeah, I
Scott
can.
Adams now.
Yeah, I
Like
can.
that.
It is. Yeah, it is interesting though. Before I start line 5, I thought this stuff prior to this, they were really insisting that it was like 2 weeks after her birthday in like the 21st of May. That's what Geiger was talking about earlier.
Yeah.
And he's now saying that it was, anyway.
Well,
So,
because this is Scott Adams, and he's trying to make the point that I told Alice to read thinking this was Geiger because there was really no nothing there showing.
There's, no indicator.
Yeah, and now it turns out it was probably Scott Adams, so he's kind of pushing her hard on the date.
Yeah, I got you. All right, line 5. Now, during that meeting with Miss Bowen, you also asked her if she could give you the name of the officer that allegedly assaulted her, and she could not, correct?
Correct.
You also asked her if she could at least provide the badge number of the officer who allegedly assaulted her, and she could not, correct?
I don't remember if I asked her that, but I can tell you that none of my victims could give me a name or badge number.
Do you recall in your noting or nothing? Do you recall in your report noting in there that Miss Bowen stated that she never knew the officer's name, nor did she ever know his badge number?
Correct.
And it's your testimony that during your interview with Ms. Although you knew, did you know prior to going into this interview on October the 9th of 2014 that Ms. Bowen had come into contact with Officer Holtzclaw due to the CTU or CIU run or the Varuna back in the May of 2014? Did you have that information?
I might have, yes.
Okay, we're going to jump. Start on... Okay, go ahead and start on line 3.
Well, I mean, I don't want to, she just lives day to day. You know how when you go on vacation for 2 weeks, then you go, what is today? I'm not sure what the day is, or I don't even know if it's Tuesday or Wednesday. She just lives day to day. There's no plans made. There's no I have to get up for work in the morning because tomorrow's Monday. She doesn't live that type of lifestyle.
In investigating this case, ma'am, is that consistent with your experience of several of the ladies you came into contact with?
Most of them.
Did that make determining dates and certain things difficult?
Yes.
With that difficulty in mind, ma'am, did you ever then, when you came into contact with them and you had the dates that you ran to see that Officer Holtzclaw had ran their names in the crime information unit, for example, did you set out in looking for those ladies to convince them that these things happened on dates that the CIU came in?
I never gave the ladies the dates, no. When I interviewed them, I never told them where the stops were. I never told them what dates the officer stopped them. I never told them what dates the officer ran them through crime information or through Varuna. I never gave them that information.
Why not?
Because I didn't want to taint their interview. I wanted them to tell me what happened when they thought it happened. And then I wanted to be able to go back and verify that they were telling the truth.
Actually, this is Geiger.
It is Geiger, but it's okay.
Okay. Ma'am, as a lead detective in this case, working for Oklahoma City Police Department, is this investigation something you were excited about wanting to be involved in?
Your Honor, relevance. All right, sustained.
Ma'am, was Ms. Bowen, in addition to being, you told me a minute ago, she was certain it was before her mother had moved into the nursing home.
Right.
Okay. Was she certain about the location where this assault happened?
I think, yes, she was dead on.
Okay. In other words, was she was saying, well, I think it happened on Dead Man's Curve or something like that, Or did she tell you that? Where you were? What happened?
He stopped and asked me what I was doing, where I was going, and I told him that I just left my pawpaw. He said, what is this?
Hold on.
Yeah, I think we.
$34.95.
Oh yeah. This is okay, this is sorry guys. I promise I'll do much better next time. This is back to Syrita, and I don't know why it jumped like this, but here we go. It's a nice little roller coaster ride. He stopped and asked me what I was doing, where I was going, and I told him that I just left my pawpaw. He said, "This over on Northeast 15th's a crack house. You buy some drugs there?" I told him, "No, I just left my pawpaw's house." No, this is somebody different.
I don't even know. Leaving the pawpaw's house is...
That's somebody
That's
else.
not even the right...
Yeah. So anyway, so we ended with
Oh,
this
we're
was
done.
the first
Dr.
time
Dave?
that I made PDFs from, the print way, blah, 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 pages and stuff. So I've just made some mistakes, and I will make sure that I don't do that again. At any rate, this is
Well, there was some insightful stuff in there.
yeah, there was still interesting information for sure.
Is it true for sure that Detective Davis never provided dates for these ladies? That's not true, is it?
Okay,
Didn't she?
Okay, so on one hand, and right here, wherever I was going to document that because 34.94, because that's not what she says. She says none of these women knew what dates. We had to give them the dates. And then now here she's saying that she didn't give them. I never gave the ladies the dates.
Right.
I mean, that's completely contradicts what she says in another part of the testimony.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, that's hands up. Thanks, Catnip. Yeah, that's definitely another contradiction, and we need to check in on that.
Documented.
Yeah. So,
what else you got?
That was crazy, to say the least, but very interesting. The last thing I want to quickly go through, and I don't really think he spends very much time on this, is when Prosecutor Geiger gives a presentation to the Kay, could you please tell who they are? Because I always say it wrong.
It was a meeting of the Oklahoma Court Reporters Association. So I think it was an annual meeting. So they had speakers. They had, I think they had someone from the Oklahoma Innocence Project speak.
Yeah.
Before Geiger. And then they had him, and he was doing a presentation on, high profile cases that Oklahoma County had prosecuted. So he was talking about a case called the Cat House Murders. And then, of course, this notorious Daniel Holtzclaw case that made him famous.
Yeah. And he spent, I know that he either only had an hour or an hour and a half, and he spent so much time with Daniel's case that he didn't have enough time. I mean, he had to rush through the other case that he was also planning to cover.
Well, he spent way too much time on himself at the beginning of the presentation, showing his pictures from his family trip to Hawaii and telling stories about his kids and how pretty his wife is. And
then he says, I have to say that, right? And I was like, what a dick.
The obligatory, isn't she pretty?
I have to say that, right? Some whatever. He's just so glad he's no longer the ADA, but I guess he's in a
Well,
worse
it's even
position
worse. Now
Yeah.
he works, now he's in the Attorney General's office.
Now it's even worse.
Now he's positioned to be the one who answers the Holtzclaw post-conviction.
Yep. Yay. Okay, let me get rid of this banner. All right. So I don't think this is very long. Her story just isn't very long. So we'll go ahead and play this. It's really hard to understand. Really hard to understand. So we'll just try to listen carefully and.
Yeah, this is the one that Andy tried to remove a lot of that echo because the echo's pretty intense.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it was taped on it was recorded on a cell phone, and so anyway, it's pretty bad, but we'll play it anyway and see what we can hear. Okay, it's just a couple of seconds ahead of the Syrita Bowen part. Oh, whoops.
That, but she was telling the truth. There's no doubt that it happened because she told us this path that he took, okay? This lady is probably the saddest of all of them. And mental health issues, no doubt. He picks her up here, takes her on this path. Again, if you're taking somebody to the jail, folks, the jail's over here, okay? She has warrants. She's an addict. She's mentally ill. She's a sad person. The school, remember the school? School's right here. But he doesn't take her to the school. He takes her down here. And there's a green dot, if you can see it. The GPS stops for about 15 minutes right there. That spot is called Dead Man's Curve. The reason it's called Dead Man's Curve is because that's what it looks like even though it's in the middle of Oklahoma City. It's called Dead Man's Curve. Funny story, I won't tell you to it. It's not funny, but they called it that because they found a dead body back here one time. That's why she referred to it as Dead Man's Curve. But it's the middle of the night. He stops you. He puts you in the car. He goes on that path. And then can you imagine, pitch dark, nothing around. All this is an area where they completely just leveled the houses because they were slums and it's just been left and abandoned. There's trash. On occasion, there's dead bodies. You know that.
Oh my God.
He pulls you over, and he turns his car off, and he steps to the back, and imagine what's going on. Her life has been such that she has to defend herself all the way around. I know she's just a sad story. I won't go into all of it. During the trial, she's obstinate, but it's a defense mechanism. I don't know if you remember Kristen or not. She's the one who wouldn't answer my questions. I asked her what side of the car he put you on. That's a stupid question. And I finally, first time in my career, I stood there going, I have no idea how to formulate a question that will not make her mad at me. She wasn't mad at me. She was reliving what's going on, and I didn't realize it at the time. We finally took a break because she was so obstinate with me. And you know how you take the witness out of the room, the doors? As soon as the door shut behind us, she fell at my feet and started sobbing.
Oh my God.
And the detective was with me, and it dawned on me at that moment what's going on. Oh my God, she's reliving this. She's not mad at me. This is her defense mechanism. Really, really, really sad. She's been arrested many times since then. She's just a drug addict, and she's mentally ill, and she's a perfect victim for somebody like Annie Holtzclaw. That's her story. Okay, so this lady.
Okay, so he doesn't. Oh, gosh.
She fell at his feet. Or give me a break.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know because we weren't there, but we just have those of us who have, looked into the details and everything. We just kind of don't really see that happening. That's just
his drama is too much, man. He's so used to crafting a tale.
Yeah. And it's kind of hard to see too, but he's using a pointer showing where all of the little places are. But even if you were even in that room, I think it would be hard to see where he was pointing to. But from what I understand, the whole thing about finding dead bodies back there in Dead Man's Curve was not a reality. And behind with all the homes being leveled because it was just slums, I don't know how true that is.
What I believe that the way that picture is positioned, if you would turn around and from that very same spot where they took the picture, didn't we read last week that when you turn completely around, there's a church,
yes,
a parking lot, and something else? So it's not abandoned and left like that.
Yeah,
It's he's misrepresenting what that is. I'm not saying that place is great. I've driven through there, but it's not completely vacant.
right. And those are just the pictures that Kim Davis took, only the pictures that would look bad. And other than Syrita Bowen's testimony, which, as you guys could tell, even without the skips in pages that we had, her testimony is all over the place, and she is very combative. But just so you know, most of the witnesses are very combative at trial. I didn't realize that she was as combative as she was, but most of them are like that. And so it's I lost my train of thought where I was going with that. But at any rate, you can pick out the inconsistencies and the lies. And for Kim Davis to say that, again, we don't know this for fact, which makes it reasonable doubt in my mind. But she says, no, we never knew the dates. We never knew the locations. I never told them when it happened. I am just calling some bullshit on that. That's just my opinion. I'm speculating that she would get an idea of when the accused, for instance, Syrita Bowen said it was sometime in July. Kim Davis went and looked at the Varuna in the CIU, and she checked the date. Okay, well, he did stop her, but it was clear back in May, so on May 21st. So I'll just look at that, and I'll look at the AVL from May 21st, and we'll see what we can come up with. And I believe that's how all of the accusers' places and times and dates were formulated. I don't believe Kim Davis when she says that they did not see anything until after they spoke to these accusers. I don't believe her. And that's all, you guys. That is the only kind of evidence there is. What these ladies have told the detectives and what they've said under oath, and AVL. All the AVL shows is that he was in the location, that he stopped these women in the locations that most of them didn't even know the location until the detectives told them. But it shows legitimate stops. So they turned legitimate stops into sexual assaults. Just because they have an AVL printout and data points of him being in that location, and even stopped for 10 or 15 minutes idling in a location, does not show or prove that a sexual assault occurred. All it shows is that he was doing his job, that his AVL hit in these locations. And in Syrita Bowen's case, where it claims that he was idle for 15 minutes or whatever it was, I think Kay's mentioned this several times. When he would talk to, he would make contact with one of these women. He would see them come from a drug house, a known drug house. And so that was, he would stop these women if he saw them walking from a drug house. He was trying to get information uh, from these women about what kinds of, I know this is a drug house. Are you in there buying drugs? Do you know people who buy drugs in there? Do you know who's selling the drug? He's trying to get information about the house, the drug house, so that he can do further investigation and potentially break up drug houses in the area he patrolled.
He's also conscious that when people in the neighborhood see these women in his car talking to him for an extended period of time, that's dangerous for them. Because, as Bates says in his podcast, snitches get stitches. You get labeled as a snitch.
Yeah.
So there's that. And then in some of these cases where, we believe that the women were no longer even in the car with Daniel, that they were just using what Daniel did after that traffic stop or after that, walk and stop, whatever, that he would go places also when he was doing reports that's out of the way. He wouldn't sit out as a target, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
Because I guess he learned it, in gang unit, that not to do things like that, to go somewhere out of the way where you're not a target, where someone couldn't just shoot you through the window of your car while you're writing a report or filling out your field interview cards or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So
it's just so maddening to think about them using those records, his AVL records, to reverse engineer the cases and then to tell people that, that he has to be guilty because there's no other reason that these women would say that. There's just no other reason. And, if in fact they didn't pull those AVL records until after the women were interviewed, then I don't think Oklahoma City Police Department would have had any problem pulling a report that showed when those AVL reports were pulled, because anyone who works with programs at their work knows that what edit logs are. Everyone knows that every keystroke from an admin's part of the program, you can see when changes were made. You can see who pulled reports when. To the second, you can see the keystrokes. They had the ability to give Scott Adams an edit log of exactly who and when those reports were pulled, and they did not give that to him.
Right.
And I guess he didn't understand edit logs because that never got mentioned in the trial. He did ask for all the exact times and when they were pulled, but Kim Davis gave him a list of what, Rhonda, like 4 different ones that she thought this was the day that this got pulled or what. It was just some crafted document.
Yep.
And that's very telling too. So
yeah. Well, yeah, and it's just the insanity. Well, the whole thing is insanity, but part of it, you have to, we think about, okay, well, like people like to comment, notice how he only picked Black women who had histories of crimes, and I tell them he did not choose anyone. Lieutenant Timothy Musney supervisor of the two detectives is the one who chose the demographics of these accusers. He's the one who pulled all of those records, all of Daniel's police logs and police records. He's the one who pulled those and printed them and went through, I could just imagine with a highlighter, highlighting only women, only Black females who had histories of, prostitution and drug use and whatever other, things that they had going on in their lives. And so, it was Carla. It was Carla J. Okay. Just got a little note from Cherie. Anyway, so Lieutenant Timothy Musney was the one who chose these women, not Daniel. And then he gave those packets that they like to call them, because the word list became such a big thing during the trial. But it was literally a list. He had to print it out, and then he had to write them out or print them off separately or whatever he did. And then the only reason they call it now a packet is because he clipped them all up and put a picture with everybody's name and their little record and handed it to him like a little packet. It was a freaking list of women that he chose. So we have to think of that first, and then we have to think back to the opening lines of the assaults, of the interviews that Kim Davis did with all of her accusers. Well, Rocky Gregory too. He's just wait till we get into some of Rocky's accusers, because he is a freaking idiot. But but it's the same with the way the opening line of an interview. It's very, I can't think of what the word is. Leading is not the word I'm looking for, but for Kim Davis to approach one of these women and say, I have received a tip that you have or may have been sexually assaulted by an Oklahoma City police officer. How is that a proper way to begin an interview of a potentially a sexual assault victim? You've put everything in their mind already just off the top with that one sentence. And so, and that's the way she began, I would say 99% of her interviews. And Rocky Gregory would use not the exact same line, but just different words. He would do the same thing. So there's every reason to know, understand, and believe that he was set up from jump with Janie Liggins. And that's my story, and I am sticking to it. So, any more comments or questions or anything from the panel or anyone in the chat?
Well, just briefly, personally, I have a real problem with Kim Davis. And it's not just based on one thing, and not to be unfair towards her, but she's and Rocky Gregory too. That they're both. I don't know. They seem really deceptive towards everyone. Not just. It's not just maybe trying to deceive Daniel or whatever when they were doing his interview, or any one specific person. It's everyone they talk to. I always have this feeling of deceit, that they're not telling the truth. I can't help that. And that's me trying my best not to be biased because of everything that we know. We're smarter, that we can talk smart about certain events that happened in this case or didn't happen. So I don't know. And reading this section here that we just read, that's actually pretty mild reading for a lot of what Kim Davis said and testified to. She's I don't know.
Right.
I just wanted to add that in.
No, thank you. I appreciate it. Kay, any final thoughts? If you're thinking or if you're speaking, you're on mute, so nobody hears you.
I said, oh, I'm so sick of all this crap.
Oh.
I was on mute. It's just so sickening. I'm just worn slick with the whole wrongful conviction thing with everywhere, everyone. It's so sickening. And I've just been thinking this week about just how these happen, and thinking a lot about Mark Godsey's book, and the work that he's done bringing attention to how they happen and attitudes of law enforcement and judges and all of that. And when you start thinking about all those people and their role, and it just gross.
And it just seems like something that you can't see an end to.
I know.
Or even a slowing to.
I know.
It just.
Yeah, more people have to care.
Yes. Yes, they do. Well, there's still such a large group of people who don't believe it happens, or think that it doesn't happen very often.
Absolutely nothing can change and move the needle as long as qualified immunity exists, because there's no reason for anyone to change or to think, hey, I really think this guy's guilty. But I can't really prove it, but I'm sure he's guilty, so he deserves whatever he gets. I'm going to do a few shady things just to make sure he gets convicted, because we got to get this bad apple off the street. And there's no consequences because they know they have the protection of qualified immunity.
Yeah.
And I don't know, there's a lot of good stuff in that George Floyd, whatever they call it, criminal reform bill, but I really don't have any hope that it'll pass and that qualified immunity will ever go away. And then that's scary too, if qualified immunity goes away, because then good officers too are going to be facing false allegations. I mean, it's going to be a whole different problem. This world's just fucked.
Yeah. Behind the Magic says, is there a theory as to why Daniel was targeted?
I really think only because that he stopped Janie Liggins in an after-hours traffic stop. He had his computer turned off. He didn't turn it back on to call her in. And she reported. And I think that the brass freaked out knowing what was going on in the country at that time. And I think they just started imagining how it was going to look. They didn't want to be added to the list of departments that had been in the news and the news and the news. I mean, you go back and look at that time period. Really, it was just like a whirlwind of shit that kept happening. All of these things just kept happening. And I just think they thought, oh man, we got to sidestep this. We could be on national news with this one.
Yeah.
Because then if they looked into Daniel, he had these use of force investigations that were self-reported, except for one. That was going to come out. When that stuff comes out in the media, it doesn't come out, it comes out sensationalized. It doesn't come out how it is. It took this whole case for me to realize what use of force even was, and I say it all the time. I thought it was knocking someone in the head and beating them up. No, it's use of force is anything greater than placing on the cuffs. So you would expect officers to have a lot of use of force reports that they should have self-reported as a part of doing an honest police report. But when the public hears use of force, they instantly think terrible cop. So I don't know. That's just my best guess. And I think it had a lot to do too with worrying about riots in Oklahoma City, because Oklahoma City had been and still is to this day dumping a ton of money into downtown. I mean, we were like an economic dry land here. No one wanted to come bring their business here or move their family here. Oklahoma City was just a shithole. And it's not anymore. It's magnificent now, but they really didn't want to go backwards on all of the money that they had invested into making Oklahoma City what it was then, and especially what it is now. So it's political, financial, and they just sacrificed one person to, avoid. We haven't had any riots in Oklahoma City that tore up any property. So mission accomplished.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think that it was that they sought Daniel out as the target. I don't think it could have been anybody.
Any officer who had done those actions and been accused. And I mean, you also have to remember that Janie Liggins went to the media pretty quickly too.
Right.
So the media was involved, but they were already on Daniel before she went to the media. So it wasn't about that. They probably knew she was probably headed to the media.
Yeah, well, and it was only 4 days after the alleged assault took place and the stop itself. 4 days, and she went in shadow. She appeared in shadow, which is fine, but she went 4 days. She thought that she thought that they weren't going to do anything about her alleged assault. She thought they were going to sweep it under the rug and pretend it didn't happen, and let it go, and that it just like swish it away. The thing about that was that I personally think that that's why they said, oh shit, now she's gone to the media, and she's, they know, even though she was in shadow, it's clear she was a black woman and she's accusing a white cop. We got to get on this fast, and we got to figure out something to make sure that this doesn't blow up like Ferguson, and that we don't have.
Cherie has a good point too. That's a good point, Cherie. So not only looking back at use of force things, if they started looking back and Terry Morris's report came up, she had reported, of course, her allegations didn't match to Daniel, and they had already looked at Daniel because he was the last officer that had pulled her over. But they kind of dropped that case after that. They cleared Daniel. They had kind of chalked her up as either lying to get out of trouble or just like some worthless mentally ill drug addict that they didn't want to waste their time on. If that had come back to light, that was going to look real bad on him, because who was the last officer that stopped her was going to be Daniel Holtzclaw. It was things that weren't going to look good.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, there were several things that they weren't going to look good.
Yeah. This is one of Kay's favorite topics. Behind the Magic says, but why go searching for more victims?
Well, Kim Davis says, because when you have one, you don't always get things done. But if you have 13 and the MO's the same and the verbiage is the same, then you can get things done. So I guess Kim felt like the only way to make that stick. Well, first of all, backing up from that, though, they had to link more people, because they weren't going to be able to file any charges against Daniel on Janie Liggins. There was nothing. They had nothing. They had to make him into a serial rapist to be able to even have a case, because what we find out is that, you know, she went and had a SANE kit done, an oral swab, no DNA in none of his DNA in her mouth. There was nothing. They had nothing. What would that warrant for arrest have said? There was no way. And what was going to happen when they had to say, well, sorry, we investigated this, but, you know, her SANE kit says it didn't happen. They had the grainy video, which supported his story, not hers. She said the handprints were going to be on the car, that her handprints would be there and his handprints would be there. No handprints on the car. So with Janie Liggins, that wasn't going to stick with just Janie Liggins. And I think they really were fearful of what was going to happen when they had to just let the whole thing go. So they brought Terry Morris in.
Yep. Yep. Those are great questions, you guys in the chat. Maz and Behind the Magic, and the comments also from those that do, you know, that have been following for a while. Yeah, it's been a roller coaster of emotion just trying to investigate Daniel's case. A lot of anger and yeah, some laughing, and I know that it's probably a horrible look for me to laugh. I'm not laughing at these accusers. I'm laughing at the detectives. I'm not going to lie about that, and the prosecutor, no doubt, because they're idiots. But you know, it's not about trying to make light of, just like with you know, Stephen and Brendan and Teresa Halbach. It's not laughing at them. It's laughing at the stupidity of the case all around. And, you know, even though I don't believe that these accusers, I only am willing to admit or to concede that 2 may have been sexually assaulted. And that would be Terry Morris and Sherry Ellis. But not by Daniel, of course, not by Daniel, but and you know, like we talked about earlier, several of them may have been sexually assaulted or raped, you know, just in the line of prostituting, or, you know, what, for many other ways and reasons and places that they would be. But it's not laughing at what may have happened to them. I mean, there's no excuse for me laughing all the way through, you know, everything we read tonight about Syrita Bowen, other than it was just comical to me that she was so hostile and so and it wasn't even that I can't even really feel like it was that she was lying. I mean, I know she was lying, but it was because, like you guys were saying earlier, so confused about what am I supposed to say? I don't, I can't remember if I'm supposed to. She probably was so frazzled about what she was supposed to say, what her answers were supposed to be to any given question. So, it's again, I blame that. I call that abusive, and I blame that on the detectives and the state, Galen Geiger, because no matter what, it's abusive behavior towards all of these women. So, and that's not me excusing them or in any way, that because certainly at some point they know that they've lied. So it's not me excusing that. It's just a recognition of that. Go ahead, Alan.
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah, I agree with you, Rhonda. We're not laughing at them per se. We're laughing and making light of the stupidity of this case, because it is. And I'm sorry, I'm not going to apologise for making it sound how it is, because it sounds pathetic, it sounds stupid, it sounds like they're clutching at straws. And I'm sorry, but that prater, Geiger, his voice just goes right through me every time I hear it, like Ken Kratz.
Yeah.
And that's why I started doing that stupid voice, because he just does my nothing. And if you don't make light of this stuff, it can get to you, and it can get to you on a personal level. And it's not that we're trying to make light or make fun or anything like that. We're trying to get the truth out there. And if having a wee laugh or a wee giggle or taking the piss out of the so-called lawyers that are supposed to know better, then that's how we're going to do it, because it's how we can manage how to do it. Because if we didn't do like the silly voices or the giggling at the stupid questions or anything like that, you would have to put a warning up every 2 seconds or every second, because every second, third or fourth or first word that comes out our mouth will be fuck or bastard or something along those lines. You know what I mean? Because it just gets so stupid and pathetic. And the fact that it even got into a courtroom in the first place is beyond a joke. So it is laughable at this case.
Yeah.
Ask them about the key, Jack. Ask them about the key.
Ask him if he dropped the key in there.
Yeah.
Yes, the ridiculousness.
Sometimes you just have to poke fun at some of the horse shit that comes along in these cases. We know it's crap, and it's either stay seething mad, just like Al said, all the time. You got to let that go and bring in some kind of comic. That's in my mind. Just being world. If we were at trial or in some official capacity, we would be serious all the time. Probably mad as hell or some other emotion that would overtake us. But I have to agree with with Rhonda and everyone. We're not laughing at these people. We're laughing at this situation because it is so ridiculous, and it comes out. It's emotion.
Yeah.
We are too, Maz. We're surprised it got into court as well, because it's all really just there's no evidence. There's just no freaking evidence. AVL and he said, she said testimony. Well, not he said, because he didn't testify, but that's that's the only thing that they convicted him on, but was the accuser's words are what convicted him. and AVL maps. So let's see. I want to get back to Shaz in just a minute, but let's the outcome, Maz, of Daniel is in prison he was sentenced to 263 years. I hope you're still lying down in your bed because it and that wasn't even on all 13 accusers. That was on
18
half of
to
the 36 charges.
Yeah.
So it's horrific. And then just before we wrap up, I would like for Kay to address this. Shaz says, "Hey everyone, Jenny Holtzclaw does Facebook Live talking with Daniel every Tuesday night too. He answers questions. I always have to watch replay because of the time difference, but it's great listening." This is a good time to, before we wrap up and check out, a good time to explain how that's going to be going, if you don't mind, Kay.
Yeah. So Tuesday, I guess it was Tuesday morning, Daniel was approached by one of his supervisors, and someone had contacted Oklahoma DOC and said that he was doing these calls. They had a problem with it, so they contacted the prison where he's being housed. And one of the supervisors actually pulled up the Facebook Live and watched a little bit of it, which I think is pretty cool. Got exposed to some of the facts of the case while they were investigating this report.
Mm-hmm.
And so they told Daniel that he actually cannot do that. It's even though technically it isn't a three-way call, they weren't going to allow him to do it. They're deeming it as a three-way call. But they gave him a solution, which was cool, that Jenny could pre-record these sessions and then she could preview them. And so that's what we're going to do from here on out. And that's right as we speak. Jenny and Daniel are recording their, what would that be? Number 3?
Yeah.
Is that what we're on?
Yep.
Podcast number 3 that will play at 8 o'clock Central Time on Tuesday night. And so going forward, we'll have these pre-recorded shows every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Central. And you can go subscribe to Daniel's YouTube channel, which is just Daniel Holtzclaw, or Facebook on Jenny Holtzclaw's Facebook page. I think it's on Twitter too, but we're all YouTube people, so see you on the YouTube.
Yeah, see you on the YouTube.
Anyway, so yeah, that's that. So I don't know. I guess they think they got to win, but I'm not sure that it's not even just better this way anyway.
Yeah.
I don't know, because it gives Jenny and Daniel more flexibility. It's less stressful for them because Daniel can't control things that go on in the prison. And, at least if he can't get a connection, or if the connection is horrible, and they're going to try to just record it straight through, because Jenny frankly doesn't have a lot of time to do a whole bunch of editing. But if they needed to edit it out because his connection was so horrible you can't even hear his answers, then that will be an option. So we're taking it as a win, and whoever made the complaint, we'll send him a big thank you.
Yeah. Shaz, we didn't do one this week because Daniel and Jenny just found all this stuff out, I think, over the weekend. Yeah.
No, they
So,
found it out the morning of the show.
oh, so just Tuesday morning.
Yeah, that all happened Tuesday morning.
So they didn't have one this week, so you didn't miss anything.
There are 2 that are posted on the YouTube channel. And there's a lot of other content on his channel.
Yeah. Yep.
I
Yeah.
mean, to me, that's just spiteful.
Mhm.
Whoever it was that phoned up and complained.
Well,
That's
you know,
just spiteful, you know.
It's probably an accuser's family member. It could be
Galen Geiger.
I can't even imagine him
What
Yeah.
the so-called
spending his time doing that.
what the so-called accusers that have now all dropped their lawsuit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if it was that important to them, then why drop the lawsuit?
It could be someone from Artists for Justice. It could be any of the groups that were doing the protests during his trial.
Yeah.
Does he have appeals? He has post-conviction. He has a post-conviction application that we're working on, or that his team is working on right now. And he's being represented by an attorney, Jim Hankins, right now out of Oklahoma City. So what we need to do right now is get a page extension, because we tried to get the brief has to be 25 pages long, which is ridiculous for basically 13 cases. So we had asked Judge Henderson, for an increase to 50 pages, and he denied it. So we'll go back, since Henderson, since all his judgments are sketchy.
Yeah.
And there shouldn't really be any reason that they don't grant the page increase. I mean, that was just mind-blowing that he denied that in a case such as this.
But just like in Wisconsin, they have to protect their verdict. They have to protect their conviction, and that's what they're going to do. They're going to fight and fight and fight. So
yeah, but the good thing is, though, is it not that this post-conviction, it's not going to be Henderson that it's gone to, and that's who dealt with Daniel's other appeals, wasn't it? It was Henderson. Well, he's not doing it anymore. So hopefully this new judge who's going to be looking over it takes in all the facts and all the details, you know, because it's just like Stephen and Brendan's case, there is too much doubt in this case.
It's not likely. It's not likely that he'll get a sympathetic judge or an honest judge in Oklahoma County. His attorney seems to believe that we're going to get Judge Natalie May. I don't know what makes him think that. Daniel's been down for 7 years, Maz. But she's tied into that whole group of Oklahoma County attorneys that, were working under Henderson and with Henderson. So there's just no good feeling coming from me that she's going to do the right thing and be honest. I really don't think that's how he's going to get his relief, is through the courts.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty pathetic that you can't even trust your own judges, to do the right thing. I mean, that's like here in Luke's case. Luke's got a new lawyer and that as well, and he's doing it pro bono. They're doing it pro bono, and they're trying to go for another appeal to get the evidence, because there was 122 items that haven't been tested. So they were trying to get it tested. Well, they've now discovered that the police have been destroying crucial evidence, like fingernail scrapings and things like that came from Jodie. And it went to the Lord Advocate. And the Lord Advocate that it went to that grants these appeals and everything like that is the wife of the prosecutor who prosecuted Luke. You know, so the same sort of corruption is happening here as well. And I don't know how many podcasts I've been on and say, oh, no, that'll not happen in the UK, you know, but it is happening in the UK. And in my opinion, she should have been taken off, because after the Lord Advocate, there's nowhere really, because they're the higher up. So where else are we meant to go now to say, no, that's wrong, she shouldn't be on that case, you know? So it's just madness that we cannot, in my country or your country, cannot trust our police, and we cannot trust judges and advocates.
Yeah. Yeah, some things have to change for sure. To make things need to change so things can change.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. All right. Well, I think we had a really great discussion tonight. I will do much better next time when we're reading transcripts, so that we don't, because it's very confusing if you aren't familiar with something specific. You know, we're all, well, Kay and I are very familiar with, you know, what was in those missing pages, but, or I shouldn't say very familiar. We have an idea of what was in those missing pages. But, you know, if you're not familiar with the cases at all, then you wouldn't know. And so I will do a better job next time of double checking myself and making sure I'm doing it correctly. And
I got to tell you, I got to tell you, Rhonda, I have to say that given what we did read, I just don't think we missed that much, other than her just being off her down.
Yeah,
I really don't.
Either. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you, Case. It's fine. You can listen to Penthouse Diaries tomorrow. No shit, huh? God. And then Maz is requesting, can we please have voices again too? If I can keep from laughing, sure. But yeah, I appreciate that, Jack. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and we'll end for tonight. Next time we will start talking about another, it might be a 3-parter, because it's got quite a bit more to it than Syrita Bowen did, but we're going to talk about Regina Copeland. And
that's a good one.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's a really good one, and there's a lot of inconsistent stuff to find. So I want to thank everybody on the panel, everyone who helped read, Kay, Alice, and Jack, and for all of the great comments in the chat, questions. Those of you who are new to the case, I hope you'll come back and keep learning more, and we will be happy to answer any questions that you have. And, you know, and if that takes a 3-hour long video, which I'm not necessarily prone to wanting to do all the time, just because people get bored. But if there's, you know, if we are good questions and comments coming from the chat, then we're going to keep answering them until we're done. So don't forget Facebook Live on Tuesday. Your new cat. Okay, whatever. And we're doing Facebook Live on Tuesday. Go to YouTube, Facebook, or to Twitter to follow that. And until then, we will be back next Thursday at 5 p.m. Central. Until then, peace out.
Good night.